Alrighty fam, welcome back to another video. So this video is a little bit later than I wanted to be doing it, but we're going to be talking about who you should build up for, not this guy, but for the new MELI that's coming out. As you guys would have seen on the update for JP and as my video yesterday and a couple of obviously everyone else's videos and stuff as well, we have a new Meliodas coming, which we all knew and expected, and basically he works with demons and 7 deadly sins. So I'm going to be running you through kind of my picks in terms of who I think you guys should be building up for it. He has a really cool and interesting passive that covers off links as well. I won't be going over it in this video. If you want to see it, it's in my previous video, go check that out. But we're going to be going through like what units I'd recommend building up and why, and then also even some links and stuff that you want to talk about. So first things first, we're going to start with demons. So demons is going to be pretty straightforward. Esterosa is probably going to be a main choice. Like most of you guys, if you've got Esterosa, you would have already built him. He's kind of a staple for a lot of the demon team units. So I think he's obviously going to be a really, really good choice. Next is obviously going to be DK, right? Some of these are going to be pretty obvious, fam. Like there's not going to be too much that's kind of going to be too crazy here, but it'd be Demon King. So now Demon King, well, first let me touch on, I'll go back and I'll touch on more gear and stuff. So in terms, you don't have to have his Holy Relic. His Holy Relic is pretty whatever, but the whole idea is you basically want to apply darkness, right? The more darknesses you have, the more kind of stats and stuff you have, which is always really nice. Now, gear-wise, you're pretty much happy. Like, I have attack crit and HP defense for Esterosa, but you can definitely get away with just HP defense. By the time you encroach someone, you kind of do a hell of a lot of damage anyway, and the whole idea of him is, as funny enough as it is, when he first came out, he was a DPS unit, but now he's definitely more of a support unit. So you'll hopefully be able to pull him if you don't already have him in the banner with MELI, because he is obviously in there. And yeah, so Holy Relic's not really necessary, but I'd recommend gearing with HP defense for Esterosa as well. Now, similarly with DK, if you haven't got him already, he is in the banner. I wouldn't necessarily say he's going to be the must-have pick, and I'll explain why in a second, for a couple of reasons. Now, again, I'd run HP defense on this guy as well. As you can see, my Demon King isn't really that built. I'm not the biggest fan of DK. I don't think he's ugly as all hell in terms of design, but he's obviously a very, very strong demon, and he's good to use with the new MELI that's coming out. Now, this one probably comes with a bit of a caveat. This will come up if you can get his Holy Relic. Right, for every debuff on the enemy increases demon allies' basic stats by 3% and the hero's damage dealt by 4%. So this will increase basic stats. You've also going to have attack-related stats go up and decreases all enemies' attack. So I actually think this Zeldris in the front with his Infect is also going to be incredibly strong as well. And obviously DK has an Infect as well. But I actually think this guy with Holy Relic is going to be really good. Again, HP defense. You don't really need attack crit on anyone apart from maybe the new Meliodas. These guys are all going to be good on HP defense just for out-CCing and like overall, survivability. So honestly, like these three would probably be my top picks in terms of the ones you want to have built up for the new Meliodas. Now, you also want probably Cusack in the back, right? So these are probably the frontline units I would alternate between. We can probably make an argument for Chandler as well if you have his Holy Relic. I think probably just taking some pressure off MELI would be nice because they'll probably go straight for him. But he's going to be pretty tanky anyway, especially if you give him even something like Tarmiel Link, just because of his defense-related stats that you're going to get. So backline units, you could maybe get away with Green Chandler, right? Pierce rate goes up and then damage dealt goes up as well. But I think the best choice for backline is probably going to be this guy here. Decreases crit chance and crit damage by 30% for enemies on the battlefield, and then increases attack-related stats by 4%. So if you combine this guy, so it's a 12% attack-related stat increase, and then you also combine it with Zeldris, you're also going to have another 4%. So that's 24% attack-related stat increase, decrease all enemies' attack by 18%, and then also with the Holy Relic as well, you're going to increase your damage dealt on this unit as well as your basic stats. So I think actually the combination of the new MELI plus Zeldris, Esterosa, and Cusack is actually going to be really strong because you're going to debuff, you're going to apply the AoE damage, you're going to have attack increase, you're going to have the basic stats from this, and then that. So I think these three combos with MELI is going to be really, really good. So for backlines, that's probably my recommendation. Again, if you don't have him, you can definitely pull him. Or you've got this Chandler here as well. Now, the only problem, I suppose, with this, you could also maybe use this Zeldris in the back, but then you kind of rule out Demon King as well as Ominous Nebula Zeldris, which I don't think is the best. And this also relies on how many debuffs they have, and they need 8 debuffs. So the new MELI doesn't do any debuffing, so I don't think that's going to be the best choice there. Now, links-wise is where it gets interesting, because the new MELI, if they take a link on, they also, if he takes a link on, he'll also take the commandment that they have, right? So the one thing that's going to be very, very interesting is using something like Melascula, because her commandment is if you don't use a skill, you get 2 ignites applied, and basically when MELI cleanses debuffs on his own units, he increases his, I think it's attack related stats, or he gets those seeds of demise, right? So if you put Melascula as a link for the new MELI, then you're also going to have the ability to create ignites on your team. And then obviously as long as they can survive those ignites, then he's going to cleanse those debuffs and get his seeds of demise and increase his attack related stats from memory. His passive's so long, but it'll boost all his stuff. So this one, or any form of Melascula that you have, right? Because they all have the same passive. Also, they all have the same commandment, right? But I think that's actually going to be a very interesting pick if you pair her with MELI, because then you can cleanse the debuffs while using that, right? So that's probably what I'd have for links. Now, the other ones, obviously, for links that you pretty much should always have is the goddesses, right? So you should always pretty much have Sariel for his grace, which is critical strike, ignores 50% of the crit defense. Tamil for obviously his insanely broken grace as well. And you could even, I mean, if you wanted to, you could obviously have Mael as well for his grace. The only other one you could maybe argue, I mean, her grace is just not probably worth it. So those are probably the 3. I'd have Tamil, I'd have Mael, and I'd have Sariel. Those are probably the big 3 that you'd want to probably put on the new MELI from the goddess team. And that's what I'd run for the demon. So I'd make sure you have Restarosa, Demon King, Zeldris. You could get away with Chandler, but I don't know if he's going to be kind of meta for it. A Melascula might not be a bad link, and then obviously the Cusack in the backline. Hopefully you guys pull these units if you don't have them. I think that's going to make a really strong demon team. That's going to have a good comeback, kind of. Well, demons I think are going to have a good comeback, right? Now, let's talk 7 Deadly Sins. So there's quite a few different options you could have here, right? Now, one of the big ones that you're going to probably want to look at is Deanne. Deanne, I think, is just going to be strong. Obviously, HP defense on Deanne. I think one of the interesting things about this Deanne is, well, not this Deanne, but having Deanne is obviously the taunt, and if you've got Holy Relic, you increase the damage dealt, which is really nice. But it might be better to have a unit that has an AoE skill. So, I mean, you could pick the one ultimate, of course. I mean, you guys should hopefully already have this guy built, because he's insanely strong. Mine's only 4/6, which is very upsetting. So he's got an AoE. You could run King with double AoE with shield. Now, King's obviously dropped off a whole bunch, not recently, but for a while. And he's just doesn't have any free costumes or anything. There is a sale at the moment, but I don't know if it's worth it. So King could be good for double AoE. Obviously, Light Barn. If you've got Light Barn is insanely good. I'd probably run him HP defense, right? I should be mentioning all that as I go. So you can probably run Barn with HP defense. Attack crit might be nice for additional damage, but you don't need it. I would say if you're running Barn with attack crit, you'd have to probably run Deanne to take pressure off Barn, right? And obviously you want Tamil Link on Deanne, HP defense. And then you also, I mean, what else? With King, I'd probably run attack crit. Not that one. I'd probably run that one to give him as much damage as possible, right? To really try and get that shield as strong as you can and do as much damage as you can. And honestly, like, you can maybe run Gotha. Where is he? You could run Green Gotha, but he's kind of dropped off a little bit. The rank up I don't think is going to be as strong. So I'd probably say maybe, but the thing is, right, with Barn, I'm jumping around a little bit on this one, so I do apologize, fam. So let's start off. Let's go back to the beginning. Deanne, I think, would be a good taunt unit, but she doesn't have the ability to do AoE damage to apply those seeds of demise, right? You want to be running with her with HP defense, and obviously if you've got her Holy Relic, it's going to make life a hell of a lot easier, and she's going to be really nice and tanky, and she's going to keep the Sin team alive, right? That's the first choice. Second choice is going to be Barn, just because he works really, really well with the Sins. However, the one caveat with Barn is he's going to apply the attack lower right on everyone constantly. And the new MELI, if you're fighting a new MELI, is actually going to love that because he's going to cleanse all those debuffs and get a whole bunch of additional stats, right? So Barn's going to be interesting as a choice. I'm not sure if he's going to be the right one. As I was kind of mentioning, King, attack crit, if you want to run him, max out his gear if you've got it. I might actually buy him some cosmetics. I think he looks really cool with cosmetics. And then you can use double AoE to help with melee. And then that'll help apply Seeds of Darkness. So to be honest, you could maybe do new melee King, wherever he is. I just lost him. There. Chad King. And then maybe Deanne. So you could taunt, then double AoE with King. And that'll put you in a better spot with the new one. So maybe that's a good choice. Now, in the backline, Brawler Barn is obviously a really good backline unit for the Sins. Increases your tackle rate stats by 10% and decreases all enemies' crit chance, crit damage, etc. by 15%. I still like Barn in the back for this team. Now, this Merlin is getting a Holy Relic as well, so if you can get her Holy Relic, she might be good. But again, she relies on debuffs, right? And melee cleanses the debuffs, so we're still going to do a bit of playing around to see what the best kind of go-to team is with the Sins. I think the Demons is a little bit more straightforward. With the Sins, you've kind of got to be a bit more, not careful, but you'd probably have to play around with it a bit more. So, you know, maybe you run Deanne, the one ultimate, and then the new melee with Barn in the back. Maybe you run new Barn with Merlin and a Holy Relic in the back, and then, like, you know, Deanne or King. So there's a few different options you can have, but like, hopefully you guys have the majority of the main Sins built. I'd be very curious if this King, I don't think this King's going to do anything. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've got in the back that might be... I mean, you could maybe run the Alt Rush Merlin, but I think your best bets are probably going to be this Barn, that Deanne, obviously the one ultimate, I think King for the double AoE, this Barn for the back, and maybe if you wanted to, you could run this Gotha, right? And then increase your attack-related stats up to 5 times. So both races are counted as a hero, and a hero is an additional race. Yeah. So like you could probably maybe do like Gotha, Melee, Deanne, and then Barn in the back, and you still get the attack-related stats every single time as they came through. That's where you probably wouldn't have to be able to run Merlin in the back. So there's definitely going to be a few teams that we're going to be able to try out with the new Melee and the Sins team. Like I said, I think the Demons are going to be a little bit more... I think the Demons are going to be a lot more straightforward. Estarossa, Zeldris, Demon King, Cusack, and then maybe like Melascula, and then the Sins is going to take a bit more playing around with. But I mean, you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm excited to see what teams get built with these guys. Don't forget though, when you're building out these teams, make sure you save some mats for the actual melee. Actual melee requires 10 UR pendants to level up because new UR units. So hope you have saved all your resources for the next Red Festival coming up. And best of luck with your summons and everything, guys. We'll obviously be doing a summons. I'll probably be doing just a 1 rotation. And hopefully you guys have some of those units built. So best of luck, and as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.